safe. So you take good care of that safe at home. And there was something very valuable in his body. That is the Atma, which is God. When we, Mother and Father prepare the body through the blessings of God. And then when the baby is supposed to come, after 10 lunar months, the Lord himself comes into the body. It has no small soul and big soul. It is God himself, and what we are supposed to do before we pass on, I like to use the word pass on and not to pass away. The body just, the soul moves on. The journey continues until we are able to liberate this Atma, which is God. So we must spend our whole life, not outwardly, but inwardly. Because if we want to secure a better place, and everybody think that when you die, you go to a better place. Well, it's a good thought. It don't happen so easy. It depends on the thought when we are breathing our last. And I want to give you an example in the scriptures. When the war was finished, let me take that over. Thank you. When the war between Sri Ramchandra and Ravan was finished, the soldiers of Sri Ramchandra fell, the soldiers of Ravan fell. Sri Ramchandra then told Indra, the Lord of the celestials, to go up in the heavens and rain this Amrit so that all will become awake. They'll get back to life. And all the soldiers of Ravan never got up. Only the soldiers of Sri Ramchandra got up. And everyone might think because they was with Sri Ramchandra they got up. No. Ravan's soldiers were saying in the battle, which is life, that where Ram we go kill him. Where's Ram we go kill him. So they were thinking of Sri Ram and they were calling his name. They got liberation. That's why they didn't get up. And you know what the soldiers of Sri Ramchandra was doing? Where Ravan we go kill him. Where is Ravan we kill him. So they're thinking about Ravan, which was very negative, and they're calling Ravan's name. So they got up. They didn't get salvation. Although they were fighting the battle with the Lord. So practice make permanent. This is what we have to do. We are told in the scriptures also that the pain of death is equivalent to the sting of 100 scorpions put together. But if we can remember God and think of God, again that comes with practice. It don't happen just like that. We think about God and we call his name, and if we can't do it and somebody wrong us can do that for us, we are blessed. That will help us to definitely go in a better place. If you read the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, it tells you that. Read Ramayana in Lanka Khan, it tells you that. So there's a thought that says if you want to hate anybody, you must hate God. Don't hate your neighbor and hate your mother and father and your brother and sister because things didn't go well. Because the moment you're leaving the body, which is very painful, the mind gets so confused that we're thinking about these people that we hated. And that don't help us. But if who Ravan was hating and his soldiers, hating the Lord, and by hating somebody, you think of them and you call their name. That's not true. And that's how they got salvation. So if you need to hate somebody, because you will be calling their name all the time, and have that hate, is God and nobody else. It will turn into positivity. So I was talking about the body. It was carrying around the Atma, which is God, and only with the Atma, the body stands. The body is alive. What has happened is that that life force, which is the Atma, has left this body. So the body becomes still. What caused the eyes to move? What caused the ears to hear? What caused the mind to function? It is nothing but God. God is in charge, the Atma. That's why in Bhagavad Gita says, Lord Krishna was Sarva Dharmana Parityajya. Say, give up all dharma and come to me. It didn't mean to leave doing your puja and all thing, It means that whatever organs of actions and of perception, everything must be used in godliness. And that's what he say, give up all dharma and come to me. So whatever you're doing, you do it for the Lord. And don't even wait for the fruits of it. That's what the Bhagavad Gita said. Just do it with your love and do it in the name of God. Don't do it for people. If you've been kind, don't be kind for people. Because one day they may not be kind to you and you will get upset about it. Do it for God. Serve through the Lord. If everybody leaves you, then God will still be there with you. I always tell parents, serve your children. Wives, serve your husband. Husband, serve your wife through God. So one day will come, everybody will leave you, or you might leave, and you will not be lonely. You'll be alone. Al means one name of God. And how we spell alone? A-L-O-N-E. So to be in oneness with God is to be alone. But lonely is different, to be alone. In the moment of meditation, you sit quietly and you close your eyes and you begin to rest the mind. Now, if you do this practice, you will see that the mind is so restless. From the time you close your eyes, a lot of thoughts will come through the mind. That's how much stress the body has. And if you could do that exercise every day for about 10-15 minutes, you don't have to do anything. Just close your eyes. But it's difficult to close our eyes because the eyes are always outwardly. Now, when a person dies, the mind do not die. The intellect do not die. The psychic impression do not die. All these things go with us. Why we have all the rites and rituals? One day probably I will come and share some thoughts. This is not the time for this. Why do we have all these rites and rituals? Pandit Ashram was just telling me in the car coming that a family, their funeral, they didn't want to do anything again. One family member did it 13 days, they didn't do nothing again. And the priest started to harass all the family members. They do it though. They do it 6 months after. And everything was settled. I want to tell you openly today, no scriptures has prescribed that you could do everything one day. And if a pandit come and do everything one day, he has to take the China money. And a Brahman must not take Dachina by nobody's house until the Bhandara. So he defiled himself also. You cannot eat, drink, water. You cannot take Dachina in a home that is sutak for 10 days. If you don't believe that, that's a matter for you. You don't have to go to the university to disbelieve the scriptures. But that's the truth. The scripture don't tell us lies. A pandit might lie to you, but not the scriptures. What suits them, they will tell you. And they upset everybody's home. When the pandit do that, the family begins to suffer because the prate is not settled. There's a prate. It will remain until 1 year. So in a home, if somebody died for 1 year, you can't put up a flag. You cannot make noise. That's why when somebody dies in the country, they take the flag and they put it half-mast. They learn that from Sanatana Dharma. No flag in the yard for 1 year. And they say, let's stand in a minute of silence. When I say silence, not with speech, but in mind. No fights, no quarrels, because the prate can drop from grace. And when this praise drop from grace, then we are all in trouble. All those who are connected to that person who died. Struggles will begin in our lives. But when the prate is settled, and 1 year it is prepared now to go to Pitri-lok, then the family will be blessed. When they enter Pitri-lok, then that departed can give blessings in the prayed form. No, we have to make sure that we do all the things possible to not allow the prayed to fall from grace. So this whole year we'll say, Preta Muksha Prado Bhava. We give liberation to the prayed. So we're going to honor the body to dispose of it. Because the body was carrying around the Atma, which is God. So we are going to begin the ceremony. I will ask you to stand when it is appropriate, but let us chant the name of God. God is in charge. I and you, we are not in charge. If I was in charge, I could tell God, I don't want to die. But my death is fixed. So yours. Our birth is fixed. We have no control of that. We have no control of the time we're born. Everybody who have to, the wife going to make a baby, and she have to get, whatever they call it, cesarean, they will call me and say, Baba, give me a good date. And I laugh at them. I say, this baby will born when the baby have to born, because it's karma. Your patra is nothing but your karma from the past, whether it be good or bad. Sometimes you're going through struggles in your life. Sometimes you're going seeing good in your life. And that is all with the planets. And they both chart. So I smile and tell people, you want a good date, and then I will give you. But do expect when the child has to be born, because of the karma of the child, the doctor will perform the cesarean and take the baby out. I hope you do understand that. If we don't believe that, again, as I said, I do have no problems if you don't believe that, but that's the truth. We live, we born, and we die because of our karma. Nila was supposed to die at that moment in time. And I always say to people, if you do not have to die, God cannot kill you. And if you have to die, God cannot save you from our doctor. We must come to terms with that. And we must prepare. Later on, I'll tell you the preparation for this day, how we can do it. Let's begin the ceremony. Just chant after me in the name of the Lord. Shri Radhe Govinda Bhajuman Shri Radhe. Everybody. Shri Radhe Govinda Bhajuman Shri Radhe. Shri Radhe Govinda Bhajuman Shri Radhe. Everybody. I will tell you why you should sing, right? Because the life force is floating over the body. You have no direction. You don't know where to go. Trying to get back into the body. Observing everything that is going on here. That life force is observing everything that is going on here. And the more we can sing the name of God, is more it will help. And the moment we put the pyre, when we put the last pin in the hand, we don't even have to put it on the pyre. It knows now that I have no use of this body. Because the soul know the body. That's why it's trying to get back there. Some things I would like to tell you, but a lot of people is very confused. Why do we take on pictures? Not the picture of the godly pictures, it's the picture of the person that died. And the faster we can get rid of the clothes that the person wore while they were alive is better. Because that's what the spirit know. The life force know. And when we become a spirit, that's where we start to stay. Right? Again, you don't have to believe that. But that's the truth. As a pandit for 40 years, I could tell you that. Because they don't come by you, they just come by pandit. I tell people, you see all the gray hair in the head here? That's how much experience and knowledge that I have. Me again old. Gray hair is not a sign of old age. So there's had to call the gray hair Baba when things go bad. A mother died in a home 1 week after the Bhandara. The son got an accident in Gasparilla and died yesterday. And everybody in the family worried, who go be next? So they call Baba. So I tell them to come after this funeral, see them. I have a lot of things to do, but we have to do the most important thing. Call the name of the Lord to help. If you really love this girl when she was alive, Nila, sing a little God name for her. Shri Radhe Govinda Bhajuman Shri Radhe. Everybody. Shri Radhe Govinda Shri Radhe Govinda Bhajuman Shri Radhe. Bolo. Shri Radhe Govinda Bhajuman Shri Radhe. Shri Radhe Govinda Bhajuman Shri Radhe. Shri Radhe Govinda Bhaju Man Shri Radhe Shri Radhe Govinda Bhaju Man Shri Radhe Bolo Shri Radhe Govinda Bhaju Man. We're going to do the ceremony, and many things that we should know. The scriptures never say you have to have 5 people to do this funeral. It never say that. No scripture say that. As a matter of fact, you have to ask people to be prepared to take the body and to carry it. So that's where the 5 people or the 6 people come in. But the scriptures never say that you have to have 5 people to go around this pyre, this body. It says the son, the son shall shave his head. They didn't use the plural word, meaning the eldest son. Meaning the what? The eldest son. Probably that is what Nila wanted, her eldest son to be here. So everybody know the waiting was very long. And if the man had one son, the one son performed the rites because he has to carry on this for the 13 days. You ask a person to hold on, and just before the funeral finish, they drunk. Or they eat meat and come, and they eat meat the next day. Right? So these 2 boys, they shaved their head. I'll tell you why. The science of shaving your head. One day I'll probably to organize with boy, and I will come. And those who would like to, he will tell you, come. Why do you shave your head? We're going to use 7 pieces of gold. Why do we do that? The importance of you shaving your head. Should it be 5 people? Can a wife do a husband's funeral? Can a husband do a wife's funeral? Let that be clear. Because people are confused. Very confused. I'm going to say what the scripture says, and I'm going to get the science of it. Not what Pandit Robin say. What the scripture say. I can understand a little of the scriptures, and I've studied very wide about this ceremony especially. But me, I know everything. So we're going to perform the rites. All right, I'll ask Pandit Ashram. I'm happy that my brother said he want to attend the funeral with me. So he's here. Pandit Ashram, just come and I will see the mantras. Because I think the fellow want me to start on this thing too. Go better. Go. All I can tell you is blessed is the wife that gets her husband to put a little bit of dirt in her grave. But we still discuss whether husband can perform the rites. So you just fix the date. I will come, I'll bring the scriptures, and we will go through, and you will gain some, just like myself, some knowledge of this. Om Hari Om Pavitristo Vaishnabhyo Saviturva Prasava Utpuna Chitrena Pavitrena Surasya Rashmibhi Tasate Pavitrapate Pavitraputas Jatikama Punitakshikeyam Om Tilakangcha Mahapuniyam Pavitram Papanashanamapada Haratena Tillati Hari Chandanam Sankalpa. You're going to declare, the sankalp means intention. Your intentions must be pure to get rid of the body. And then we are going to prepare ourselves for the 10 days. And you can do it in Kaljug, you're in 12 days or 13 days. The book says the Brahmins will go into 12 days. The Kshatriyas will go in 13 days. The Vaishya will go in 16 days. And the Shrut will go in a month. You could do the Shraddha. But if you read further in the Guru Puran, in Kaljug, because of man's lifespan and the situations, you can do everybody's Shraddha on 12 days, which is more appropriate. So Nila will be getting her Shraddha on the 12th day of the day of cremation. We had to come from the day of cremation. So, Sankalp. Let it face out. Come this side, beta. Face out to perform all the ceremonies. Om Vishnur Vishnur Vishnadhya Brahmanin Dvitiye Parthi Susvet Varakalpe Vaivasvat Manvantarishta Vinchati Tame Kaliyuge Kalipratam Charane. Take the place here. Trinidad Deshin Navagrame. पुण्यक्षेत्रे बौद्धवातार वर्तमान यथानाम संवत्सरे मुकायने श्री मार्गशिरमासे कृष्ण पक्षे षष्ठी तिथौ श्री रविवासरे माघा नक्षत्रे अमुक योगे करणचरासि सिंह राशि सूर्ये अमुक राशि स्थिते शशांके शिशेषु ग्रहेषु यथा यत्रासि स्थान स्थितेषु टेक योर नेम boy अमुक गोत्रस्य नाम अमुक नामस्य take your mother's name now silently in your mind अमुक प्रेतस्य अंतिष्टि कर्म अहं करिष्ये put it on the somewhere there give flowers for Lord Vishnu's pratna Yang Brahma Varunindra Rudra Maruta Shtunvant Devyastavair Vedai Sangabato Kramopanishadair Gayam Tiyam Samaga Dhyana Yavastit Datkadena Mansa Pashyamti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navidu Sura Surgana Devaya Tasmai Nama. You can say this mantra with me, everybody. I'm sure that you know it. शांताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिवृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरणं सर्वलोकैकनाथं. So when you have a funeral at home from the day of the cremation to straight on to the 1 year, you concentrate on Lord Vishnu because he was ordained by Lord Shiva to bring liberation to the Pret. Preta Muksha Prado Bhava. Nothing but Lord Vishnu. That's why we're reciting mantra. When a lady dies, sometimes people sing Durga Bhajan, that's wrong. When a man dies, they sing Hanuman Chalisa, that is wrong. And who want to do that, I wish them well. But they don't do nothing good for the departed. You must concentrate on Lord Vishnu. So one, we're going to give water to give bath to the sprinkle the water. Om Adhyamukha Gotrasya Mukpriyatasya Mritakstane Shau Nimitta Snanang Maya Diyate Tauptishtam. Take your name and your mother's name when you're doing everything silently. Then put Chandan. From up to down. From up to down. Om Amukha Gotrasya Mukpriyatasya Mritakstane Shau Nimittam Gandham Maya Diyate Tau Upatishtatam. Right, where the malas? Somebody will help. Where are the malas? Bring one mala for these boys. You have to break the mala, okay? Om Hari Om. The mala Kumar. Bring the malas quickly. Be careful how you're holding them. Put it around the neck, Prita. Om Hari Om. Adhyamukha Gotrasya Mukpriyatasya Mriktani Shaunamitam Pushpamala Maya Diyate Tau Tishtatam. Boy, you take a mala. Adhyamukha Gotrasya Mukpriyatasya Mritikstani Shaunamitam Pushpamala Maya Diyate Tau Tishtatam. यम द्वारे महाघोरे अंधनाथम सावृते तत्रावलोकनाथया दीपो यमोपतिष्ठताम. Right, come back and sit down. Then boy will continue now. Everybody should stand for this part. Kindly, if you cannot stand up, well then you sit. You all will go. Tara, don't let anybody encircle you. Right, go ahead. Yam dware mahaghoriyam dinaptam savrate tatravalokanathya deepo yamopatishtatam. Om yam dware mahaghoriyam dinatam savrate tatravalokanathya deepo yamopatishtatam. Adhyamukha gotrasya mukpriyatasya mritikstane shaunivittam deepam maya diyate tau patishtatam. Om yam dware mahaghoriyam dinatam savrate tatravalokanathya deepo yamopatishtatam. Adhyamukha Gotrasya Mukpriyatasya Mritikstane Shaunivittam Deepam Maya Diyate Tau Upatishtatam. Yam Dware Mahaghore Andhinatam Savrate Tatravalokanathaya Deepo Yamopatishtatam. Adhyamukha Gotrasya Amukha Priyatasya Mritikstane Shaunimittam Maya Diyate Tau Upatishtatam. Yam dwari maha ghoryam dinatam savrate tatravalokanatya deepo yamopatishtatam. Finish. Let it do it one place. For the whole body. Is this an arti really? Or why do we do this? We'll clear it up too. You do arti for living people and for the deities. We just giving light to Jamraj. Yam, the mantra says Yam Dwari Maha Ghori, that the pathway to Yam is very dismal, dangerous, frightful. Andhina Tamsavrate, it can be the darkest of night that one may experience. Tatra Avalokanarthaya, we offer the light so that the departed will be able to see its that prit. Adhyama Gotra Samukparitamarityan Saunamittam Deepam, we offer that light. Maya Diyate Tauptishtam, the sons have offered the light in the name of the deceased. Ek Bar Balo Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Right. You all can sit one pinda. Bring the pinda for the. We are going to offer 5 rice bowl that is known as the pinda. Why do we do this? Why do we offer pinda? We make it with like an egg shape to offer. All these things we can discuss if you would like to. But you know, if we don't know something and we don't have any scriptural injunctions, we mustn't argue it. And don't make any predictions and so on. Don't give no praman. Because we do not know. If somebody asks me something and I do not know, I will tell them I do not know, but I will try to do some research and give you the answer when I'm right. Once we don't read the scriptures, we mustn't argue anything that we see anywhere. You have the over the pindas. Om Athyamuk Gotra Samuk Prita Samrikstane Shaunavittam Eshati Pindo Maya Diati Toptishtam. They put it by the hand, right hand. Just rest it there a little bit. And offer some water. Pindo Pritilanjali Maya Diati Upatishtam. Right. This pinda will go in the left hand. When the body is being cremated, you have to have 2 pindas, one in left, one in the right. Why do we put one at the place of where the person lived? Why do we put this? We'll discuss that, and this must be done. It is not an isimidimi, it must be done. Lord Krishna told Arjuna in chapter 16, the last 2 verses, respect the ordinance of the scriptures, follow the dictates of the scriptures, and you will have no problems here and hereafter. But if you do not take our whims and fancies, something you like, and it may be wrong and you do it, you will pay the penalty here and in the hereafter. So, at this point in time, I'm going to, we'll come and sit down, Beta. Get one more chair for this boy. You all. Let us join in a little bhajan that everybody can sing. And it's all the bhajans of Lord Krishna. Shri Krishna Chandra Maharaj Prabhu Binati Itne Suniye Suniye. Everybody. Shri Krishna Chandra Maharaj Prabhu Binati Itne Suniye Suniye. We are asking the Lord, Mahaprabhu, that listen to our petition that we are making for on behalf of this child who has died, who the body has died. And they need your prayer, the life force, to move on after we cremate the body. So let's begin from now. Jinke kachu hai avalamban hai, tinke charanan rakhiye rakhiye. Everybody. Shri Krishna Chandra Maharaj Prabhu Binate Itane Suni. Lord, this departed has to take a long journey. It might be disastrous. But if we surrender this life force at your feet. That's important. You will help. Iske avagun bahuteri. Avagun means false. Our faults may be many, dear Lord. But with you, our Savior, our Master, Deen Bandhu, Deenanath, you are here for the weak and the meek, the downtrodden, people who cannot even pray or reach to pray. You are also there for that person. So we ask you, Yehi bhar chama kariye kariye. So we ask for forgiveness for our own selves and for on behalf of the departed soul. दीन दयाल पिता तुम ही, दीन दयाल पिता तुम ही, निज धाम इसके चाहिए चाहिए। श्री कृष्ण चंद्र महाराज प्रभु बिनती इतनी सुनिए। Deen Dayal, I just explained it. Deen means you are the Lord of the downtrodden. Those who have made a lot of mistakes in life, you are there for such person, Lord. Nijadham isake chahiye chahiye. If she's supposed to, this departed is supposed to go in a better place, then you can make it possible, dear Lord. Moksha daya bina hota nahi. Everybody. मोक्ष दया बिना होता नहीं, चाहे कोटि प्रबंध करिए करिए. Without your blessings and grace, not even a leaf can shake. Liberation for this spirit depends on you, Lord. We surrender this life force at your feet. Bhavasagar dhar bahut gahiri. This ocean of mundane existence that this soul has to cross is very deep, is very dangerous. It has a lot of torrents and currents. And if we do not have a good boat or a good boatman to guide this boat, to steer this boat, to become the captain. And who is the captain of this boat? God. Koi na baha chahiye chahiye. Become this boatman for this departed soul, Lord, we pray. Ye mritak jeev kusudhar gati. Ye mritak jeev kusudhar gati. Nij das bana ganiye ganiye. O Lord, this departed soul will become your servant in this journey. Please afford her a beautiful place in your realm. Koi brata tumhare kare binati. We are children who are gathered here, who can still speak and have the mouth, but speaking the wrong things, not calling your name. Have the eyes, but cannot see because we are not seeing divinity everywhere. Have the ears, but we cannot hear because we are not prepared to listen to the pastimes of the Lord, listen to the grace of God, to listen to the scriptures of the Lord, the Lila, the pastimes. We are making this petition for on behalf of the departed. Daya Bhagavan Kariye Kariye. May you ask the Lord to have mercy upon you and, of course, have mercy upon the departed soul. Sri Krishna Chandra Maharaj Prabhu Binati Itani Suniye. While I'm singing, I just imagine Nila laughing. Because Nila will laugh for anything. She in trouble, she laughing. Only last night, her sister, we want to hail her out. She's traumatized. She texts me to say, sing a song for her sister. So I text back, what song do you want to hear? She said, Jyoti Bindu. But she couldn't help it. She called me on FaceTime. Oh, she was traumatized. I couldn't look at her. I just listened to her. And you know, it was good that she was able to talk. That recently she was going through her own trauma with her health. And she said, my sister came and stayed 3 weeks with me. And we lived like how we used to live in Montrose. We used to sleep in the same bed, hug up each other. You see, and me and my sister hug up each other for that 3 weeks. Reminisce of the good times we had by our parents' home. And I just listened, not looking at her. Because I grew up with these children. Those who know me would know that. The mother was a mother to so many of us. One of the most loving and kind person you could have met in those days was Glory. Accommodated everybody. Always making her joke. And she couldn't care what come out her mouth, but she didn't mean it. And she was always pleasant. And Barney reminded me when her mother was passing on, she was passing on, is were the same, like Nila. She said, Nila, Barney went through a tough time. But Nila brought so much humor into it because she didn't want the children to worry what was going on with their mother. And it really touched my heart. But I can only sing that with the harmonium, but I don't have the harmonium, but I try to sing a line. Just bring the then I will pass on the mic to Reggie. Is Reggie? Vitra. So I'll just try to sing a line. It goes like this. Jyoti Bindu परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन. Jyoti Bindu is between the two eyebrows here. That's where the life force is really. Jyoti Bindu. We take telling the Jyoti Bindu, hey Meri Atma, oh my Atma, let's go and merge into this Jyoti Bindu, this divine. परमानंद के अनुभव कर हो, परमानंद के अनुभव कर तू, धन्य बना जीवन ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन. प्रभु की प्राप्त का मूल मंत्र है संपूर्ण समर्पण. है आत्मा चल प्रभु को सौंप दे तू सारा जीवन. Give everything you have to the Lord while you're alive. You can only liberate yourself while you're alive. The day you can see the divine in everything possible and no fault at all, then we are enlightened soul. That is an enlightened soul. You have to go in the Himalayas for that. You could stay doing all your work, but do everything for God. Think of the Lord at all the time. Everything you do, do it for God. Not one iota of hate or greed or lust or anger or jealousy. That's the demon that is traversing this consciousness and disturbing man's spiritual journey. Life is a spiritual journey. And God has prepared the world for us to enjoy in this journey, but enjoy together with God. If man wants to enjoy this world minus God, we'll always be in trouble. Enjoy the world to the fullest. Include God. Include God, because God is the creator. We cannot want the creation and forget the creator of the creation. A lot of children want their parents' wealth, but they don't want the parents. ज्योति बिंदु के पर प्रेम सिंधु में चल आज नहा ले. We're going to take a bath in this Jyoti Bindu where the Lord dwells. Prema Sindhu. It is a ocean of love and nothing else. Let's take a bath in this ocean of love, the ocean of peace. परम पिता का प्रेम पात्र बनकर Tu shubhavar pale. Become a container of love, full of love for the Lord. हो किरण किरण को निरख नयन से, हो जा मन में मगन ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले. No, my friends, let me just give you an example. If you buy a new vehicle, very new brand vehicle, and the salesman tell you, I'll bring the vehicle at your home for this time, and the vehicle show up, there's a surge of love. That is nirvana at the moment when you see the vehicle. But that goes away because that's for something material. But everybody experiences nirvana from time to time. But we experience with the world, but we have to experience with the Lord, the grace of God, the pastimes of God. That's why when I started singing the Ramayana, I lost myself. Sometimes I cry, I lost myself. And I'm not in the materialistic world at that moment in time. So what I start to do is to live every moment as though it is the last moment. Live it with God, in God, and you will be good to go. And my friends, a king, one day a beggar came to beg him with a basket. But he got so angry because the beggar always come in. And he took some rotten mangoes and fruits and put in a basket. And the beggar took it, left with it, but returned with a basket of beautiful flowers. To the king. The king said, what kind of man you are, boy? I just give you some rotten fruit and you bring flowers to me. You know what the beggar man told the king? You give what you have inside of you. I'm giving what I have inside of. Boli Vrindavan Vihari Lal ki jai. Who is going to speak?
Good morning. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Well, unlike the Baba here, I mightn't be as fluid as him because he's accustomed to speaking in front of so many people. But okay, yeah. So when Uncle Boy asked me to say a few words, and when you're faced with something like that, a challenge like that, your mind starts to race and you wonder, what should I say? What can I say? How do I get it right? And then afterwards you realize it's Niles, right? And you could say anything you want because that's how Niles was. Niles brought, and as the pundit said too, if the container that holds the Lord, that is the Atma, then it it really means that the love and the soul that it was within her. And if it's floating around, then you know and you must still feel her presence. I doubt that anything could be said about Niles that, or anything that can be can be said that each of you here don't know about Niles or haven't experienced with her. Everybody knows you didn't have to see her. As soon as she reached, you know Nyla was there. Rajiv and Avi never really got that quality, but they have different parts of her that when you look at them, you see it all the time. And it is a pleasant thing to see. And as the pundit was saying too, well, now I kind of understand because if her mom was the same way, Gloria, if she was the same way, then it follows that Niles got that from her as well. When I was looking around and I was looking to people to see, to say what they may want to say and bring that out. But I think everybody has an experience that they could share. And I encourage everybody to share the experience that you have had with Niles because it's so unique. Every part of it would be so unique. And the sadness, because there's so much sadness in all of us. But I feel like if I stood here to cry for Niles, then I feel like that would be something that wouldn't really demonstrate to everybody what a unique and, well, unique says it all, how Niles was. So Niles Niles enjoyed Lyman, and Lyman more so with her partner in crime, and her partner in everything. And I think when we were growing up, they went everywhere together, any imaginable place. They enjoyed every journey together. And in this journey that she's about to take next, well, again, we hope that she encounters Gloria, Ram Singh, Oma, whoever has to be there with her, and soon her partner will be with her as well. Um, it wasn't always about the partner, it was about the fruit of that love as well, Rajiv and Avi. And she did everything. I don't think there's a time that I would have remembered Niles saying anything out of the way or quarreling or doing anything with these kids. Always showing that kind of love, you know. And she led a very balanced life as well. So everybody would have an experience with Niles. You want something done, Niles there. She was the designated driver to some of her closest friends, you know, Mala, Daisy, Sharon. She was the designated driver. Niles loved to drive, so anywhere you call the Lime, Nyla will be there. So when we were growing up too, she taught me how to drive. She taught many of us how to drive, all the cousins, all of us, and she took care of everybody. She took care of all the boys in the family. She used to call Arvin her first son. So when the other sons came along, you know, it was such a great thing to see that Niles got her firstborn son, because she had so much love and so much love to give, and she always gave that love. Growing up, I saw her as one of the most resourceful females that I knew. You wanted a solution for something, call Niles. Whether you asked her or not, she was there to provide a solution. And I think sometimes you want a quick fix, and that quick fix used to turn into something a little bit longer. They call that sort of thing outside of the box thinking, and I think it was mostly so because of her creativity. And then I got to realize too that creativity is something that comes from your own internal imagination. And her imagination was quite broad. And I feel like because that soul, the one time you used to see Nile serious, the only time you used to see Nile serious was when she was sitting to do puja. When puja was done, we go back to the lime and the old talk. But that was the time that she was focused, and the jovial part of her was always there, but that part of her, the focus and the intent, because I think in her soul she knew what she was doing, why she was doing it, and why she needed Avi to come home to do this as well. In the early days, she wasn't known for her culinary skills, but as time went on, I think she could hold her end. If anybody was here throughout the time, you would know Niles had a thing with the air fryer to taste this, taste that. I call that pot that Niles, any pot, barkat. We say it, we hear it. She always had something to offer somebody, something to eat, something to say, come sit down at 5, you know. You couldn't ever come to this house and not sit down at 5. It had to do with Niles, it had to do with Uncle Boy, but you couldn't ever come and not eat something, not lime, not say a few good words, have a few laughs. So I encourage people as well, because Niles not here in body, that soul is still going to be here. And come to the house, say whatever you have to say, laugh. Most importantly, laugh, because laughter was one of the things that she brought and she took everywhere that she went. So her patience, her willingness, the kindness, being everybody's mother or the somebody that everybody never realized they needed to bring us back to center, to help us remember we're here for a short time, to laugh, to love, and to be the best we could be to the people that matter most to us, and to accept things as they are. Now, some of you might have looked for a reason like, why did this have to happen now? But as the pundit said too, we're here for a short time. When our time is completed, the body goes and the soul has to move on. So we hope in the next stage of this journey, we hope to find Niles again. And I am certain that we all will. So Uncle Boy always says, we didn't come here to make stone. and 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 though we'll surely miss the laughter, we'll miss the old talk, the real talk, the caring and everything. We'll close our eyes and think back to a time when she made us laugh with something that she would say. So very Nila, so out of time, but so funny that only Niles would say, and only Niles would dare to say. So everybody, thanks for coming. I know this was a difficult time, and it is a difficult time. But we thank each and everybody for being here today to share in the, in the farewell to the body, but, keeping the memory of Niles alive.
Many people probably came here by some other relationship, but when the person do a eulogy of the person that died, you get to know more about the person to appreciate. And it's nice that she said that anytime you remember Nila, she's there, but you remember her in a very jovial and nice way. Continue remembering like that. Don't remember anything else. But I learned to understand Nila and Boy. I know them long time. You need to remind, it says that when Janak put the arrow for who will break the arrow will get married to Sita. That's a deep philosophy. In the highest philosophy, the arrow represents the ego. When we break this false ego, which is a false program of ourselves, then we could get to God. Having this ego, edge God out, no. We'll struggle. The next lesson is that all the kings came, including Ravan, trying to break that bow. And incidentally, that bow was given to Ravan. It came in the hands of Janak. And Janak put it down and he couldn't even lift it again after. But one day Janak saw Sita sweep in and she lifted the bow with the left hand and put it back down. And he says anybody who break that bow will be equal to Sita. So 10,000 kings came together to lift the bow and they failed. Now if you take out the 0 from that, you'd leave with 1. Naira had 1 hero and every man else was 0. Nobody could say, since Nila got married to Boy, anything you could say negative about Nila in that way. And that the girl was right there. That anyway you see Nila, you see Boy. Especially when he resigned. They're always together. All the time. And they enjoyed each other's company. Because some people say, I don't know, my husband will give me a chance, man. You're like a leech. And some wives say, well, same thing. Some husbands say the same thing. But you could have never heard that from Nila. It means they were enjoying each other's company. They had a good relationship. They understood each other. And that's why they live like how they live. Come in here 2 or 3 times to speak to Boy. I knew that Boy was in shock. I listened to him. And I listened to everything he had to say. And I used the opportune time to tell him what I have to tell him what to do. Because I understand Boy. To get along with somebody, you have to understand them. And you have to know when to speak. And when we must zip up the mouth. So I was able to speak. And you know what? Seeing the body, cremating the body will bring closure to the minds of everybody. Recently I did a virtual memorial service for a girl who died in Canada, a young child. And all the family couldn't go because of COVID. Nobody understood what happened to the child. And if she really died. And then the mother called me and she said, everybody, what you did for us, it brings closure. Because everybody was listening, the family in Trinidad, most of the family in Miami and Trinidad and other parts of the world, they now bring closure that the girl has really gone. And that's why we cremate. Everybody come, it will put closure. And my friends, I have my eldest brother.
Wanted me to read something that she sent.
Okay. You come now and do it. So Barney is listening to us, and I could imagine the pain that she's really going through. Because that's her sister. And Barney and Nila were the only two children for the late Ram and Glory. And Ram used to treat these two girls like flowers. Ram was one of the most peaceful fellow I saw. When he had to put his foot down, when he get firm, but these two children were his life and glory. And they're just two sisters. One has gone, and the other one cannot come. She said, I come to everybody from Trinidad. Everybody who are here die, and I jump on a plane and I come, and my sister die and I can't come. It is painful for her. Everybody, you must say a prayer for her. Say a little prayer for her before you leave, that God will grant her the patience and the strength to understand and put closure to this. She has sent a little message. Vitra. To read it.
It was Nila. You sure fooled us into thinking you were okay. The last time we saw each other was when you came to Florida to take care of me after my surgery earlier this year. We slept together like we were little girls again. I will always be grateful to you. I didn't know that would be the last time I would see you. I would have kept you with me longer. We had so many vacation plans this year, but COVID spoiled it. Niles, I am still in shock. We spoke every day on FaceTime, even the night before, and you gave us no warning. I wish I could be there today for you, but I know you will always be with me. Please watch over Avi, Rajiv, and Boy, and give Mom and Dad and Oma Bra a hug for me. I love you very much, sis, and will miss you every day until I see you again.
Before I ask my brother to give some beautiful thoughts and pray for the departed, you know why we come to a funeral? It's very important. We are telling the family, hey, we stand with you in this time of bereavement. And by you just coming here, you give strength to Boy and his two sons and other members of the family. Tara was very close. Tara was always here. Every time I come here to do puja, Tara is here. Tara from the park is here in Nila's puja. And they will have the fun, and Nila will perform her puja. I understood everything about Nila. I didn't tolerate her, accepted her and Boy performing the puja. And Nila was one of the only person who will call me and say, I want my puja this day. I said, we're going to make trouble with Nila. I'll shift into a suit. I said, don't worry, don't worry. She will call me. And sometime, a little before the puja, I want my puja this day. So I understood her, and it's always sad to see somebody near and dear, but we have to understand one day we all have to. एक दिन हमें भी जाना है, जग चला जाता है सारा, इसमें कौन ठिकाना है. एक दिन आए भी अकेला जाए भी अकेला. If Nila was belonging to any one of us, including Boy and her two children, why she's leaving them and going? That's the day will come when all of us will become separated. And we must only be separated when death do us part. So let me ask my brother Pandit Ashram.
Prem se Ola se Bindraban Bihari Lal ki jai. Devotees, we all here to bid farewell to the late Nila. But as we are here, she in her present state can give us many, many teachings also. That today the body is going to be cremated, and if you look at her hands, it's empty. She can take nothing with her. And so too, these things will teach us that in life we must live in such a way that we are aware that this will happen to us one day. All of us have to think about this. We cannot live life anyhow and anywhere with any kind of, no moral standards and attitude and respect and so on. Because as the Pandit and Panditji spoke just now, the purpose of life is to gain mukti and liberation so that you get oneness with God. And we have to prepare for this. How do you prepare? How we live. How we live is important. We have to follow the rules of our scriptures and the laws of the land. Live within these boundaries, and that will help us. That will help us. Because we know there are three ways by which we commit sins, and three methods by which we can uplift ourselves to meet the Lord. By our thought, our words, and our action. If they are pure and in accordance with our scriptures and in accordance with our the teaching of our parents and family tradition and so on, and also the law of the land, then we are safe. But, you know, when we are living in this world, there's so much beautiful attraction and good times that sometimes we go overboard and we forget that we have to live a kind of disciplined life because we have somewhere else to go. Today, this body is here to be cremated, but also the soul is in a different plane, not in the physical plane as ourselves. So we have to think of her now not as a physical being. The soul is in a different plane and it has to move on. Now, while we're living, you know, all the good qualities and so on will help her now as she move on. And so too with us, we have to think that our good qualities will help us also in the future. So we have to create an atmosphere of goodness around ourselves. Be good, do good, and say good things, and think good things all the time. And that's the solution to being liberated. But it's not easy. It's easy to say those things, but because I said the association and so on, we get carried away at times. But at this time, the most we can all do for all the love and happiness and the goodness that Nila had given while she was here, we can all only pray for her and perform all the ceremonies with all love and devotion, asking the Lord to bless the soul as it moves on in its journey to liberation. We do not know how long it will take, how many births it will take again, right? God knows and Nila knows. So we have to put our hands together now and pray, ask the Lord to be side by side wherever the soul has to go and give her comfort and guidance and show her the light as she travels to the next plane. Om Anadhini Dhanu Deva Shankra Chakra Gadadhara Akshaya Punrikaksha Preta Muksha Pradubhava Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanur Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnang Vande Jagadguru Om Shantakarang Bhujagashainang Padmanabhang Sureshang Vishwadharan Gagana Sadeshang Meghavarnang Subhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanainam Yogi Viradyanugambhyang Om Achyutang Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Harim Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallabham Janaki Nayakam Ramachandrang Bhaje Janaki Nayakam Ramachandrang Bhaje. Prem Savolsi Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Ram Naam Satya Hai.
Ram Naam. Everybody say Satya Hai. Ram Naam. Yehi sabki gati hai. What it means, the only truth is the name of God. Ram Naam Satya Hai. There is no other truth. And the next truth is that one day we will all have to take this journey. So say it, everybody. Ram Naam. Ram Naam. Yehi sabki gati hai. That we all will have to go one day. Some very beautiful thoughts before we wind up the ceremony. Give you a few moments to view the body and pay your last respect. Everybody should do. It says, probably you've heard me saying it many times, Dhanani bhummo pashuvashta goshte nari gradware sakhas masane dehang chitayang parlok marge dharmana gogaksha ek jivaha. It says that when a person dies, They leave everything behind. Dhanani bhummo. Dhan means wealth. Bhumi means land and house and all those possessions. Nari gridwari. It says that the wife always relieved the husband corpse to the doorway. All our scriptures tells us, and it points out that the husband will die first. In the marriage vows, the wife and the husband will make their vows. In the ending, the husband has come very bold and tell the wife, he say, if I cannot work for your welfare and look after you because of illness and other things, I want to ask you to look after me, to mind me, in other words. And the Hindu wife, they do that. Although the men sometimes are not kind to them, but in the ending, they do it. So it always saying that, and so we have to think. I say this for us to think. Nari Gurdwara also says that when a wife could get the husband to offer some dirt on her grave, Scripture says, then she is blessed. That blessing came from her past. That today Nila is experiencing something very auspicious. That boy is still there, but he won't lead her to the gate. He will go to the cremation site. I remember doing a funeral a long, long time, and the fella behind the house crying. So when I take my car and see the husband crying behind the house, so I stop. And I say, why are you crying? You're not going to the cremation site? He say, everybody tell me I can't go. And you know why they tell me I can't go? So you go married again. And if you get married again, the wife could there too. Because I asked the man, I said, why they tell you can't go? He said, that way they tell him. I said, come sit down in the car, let me go. That is not true. That's a FARC. Because the wife died before the man. Going there to see everything is done is a blessing. So I said, come sit down in the car. Don't tell nobody you're going. Come sit down in the car, let's go. So I took him down with me. Now, Dehang Chitayang. Sakhas Masani, friends and relatives, like me and Tara, everybody, where we go reach? To the cremation site. Some people will just stay here. Some goes to the cremation site, and that's the furthest we can go. Dehang Chitayang, we put the body on the chita, and it cremates the body. Paraloka Marge, this life force needs to move, and it needs to move up. Who is the friend? Who is the friend? Dharman go gaksha jiva ekaha. The only friend you have is the dharma that you practice. Do not speak only about religion and who religion is greater. That is the war in the world. All have the same truth. They lead to the same truth, God. We must not get stuck with religion, but become a spiritual being. Accept everybody's way of praying and without condemnation and criticizing. I will go in the masjid and hug the imam. I do it in Deva. When there's a Muslim funeral, I go. If I know the person, I hug the imam. One day somebody said, well, how you go hug the imam? I say, well, that didn't go inside of me. I gave him love and he gave me love. I put people in place. We must not fight and quarrel where religion is concerned. We're going to lose the battle. And in the ending, we lose the war of life. Accept everybody how they pray. Don't condemn and criticize anybody. Everybody have their unique way in meeting with God, praying to their Lord. So that's the only thing can help us, and that's the only thing will be our friend. And Nila did that. Because growing up in the family, close to the temple, they were always involved in the temple. These two children, when they were growing up. She got married and she did not forget to put her flags up in the yard and perform her puja. She did not enjoy the one world that God has prepared. She enjoyed the spiritual world, and she also enjoyed the world that God prepared. In a very nice and legitimate way, as I said. So my friends, a next little lesson I want to give you. When Raja Parikshit, I said this many a times, I remind you. When he took the dead snake and he put it around the Samik Rishi, the saint was in deep meditation, and he was truth. So at meditation that was true, fool a king. And then there was a Kapati Muni who also fooled the king, Pratabhan. So when he took this dead snake, the son of Raja, the Sringi Rishi, the son of Samik Rishi, put a curse Not knowing what happened, he just took some water. When he saw this happen, and he pronounced the shrap with water. People just give shrap, but they don't use no water, so it don't take no effect. And when he did what he had to say, he said, in 7 days' time, the snake tuck shut, the head of all the snakes will come and bite you. And that snake is nothing but the serpent of death. That death will come in 7 days. Raja Parikshit knew he had 7 days. When will our 7th day come? Everybody has 7 days to live. We passed on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. When will my 7th day come? When will your 7th day come? Are we preparing for this? Or are we still harboring anger and hate and jealousy and animosity because we don't like somebody? I just always say, if no, that person don't like me, that stay with them. Me, I don't have no hate for nobody. Because my journey is my journey, and I am not allowing anybody out there to disturb my journey. So you could say what you want negative about me, but where you are, a person who only see negative and say negative things, they don't start the race yet. I on my journey, I start my race. What we must do is see people where they are, not see them when they were there yesterday. We always say the person do this and they do that and they do the next. So we in the past. And don't even think about tomorrow. Tomorrow will come if we make today good. The last day was no more tomorrow for Nila. And we will have that too. And I'm sure that she had the strength to make oneness with herself, God. I experienced the same thing like Nila. I had bypass for more than nearly 20 years now, and I never got sick. And the last thing they tell me in Baba's ashram, think about God. And I went to sleep. And when I got up, that's the first thing came in my mind. And that's what we have to do when we're going to sleep in the night. Go to sleep with go to sleep with the thought of God. When you finish everything going through your mind at the day's work, just sleep with the thought of God. And if you never get up, you would have gone in the thought of God. Because the last thought is what determines where we're going. And if I did not think about God and I never got up the next morning, what happens? The alarm clock to wake us up is God. So when I get up every morning, the first thing I do, thank God for waking me. I thank the Atma, God, for being in this body to keep it alive. I think about all the ancestors that have gone and say my prayer. First thing in the morning, nothing else. Nobody and nothing that happened yesterday. Yesterday has gone. What happened yesterday is gone. So my friends, Raja Parikshit, when he heard this, that he had 7 days to live, he told his son, he said, you don't know what you did, son. You put that on the king, and the praja will suffer. Because when the king dies, there will be no one to protect the treasury, and the other kings will come and loot. But you should have thought of what you did. Let us go and alert the king. Samik Rishi took Singh Rishi and he went to alert Raja Parikshit. He said, this is what this boy did to you. Raja Parikshit wasn't angry because he knew death will come anytime. But what he was happy about, he knew that he had 7 days to live from then. What should I do for the 7 days? He went and found out. With many intellectuals, great pundits. One pundit told him to pray to God and think about God for 1 year. He said, I've told you I have 7 days. One pundit told him 6 months. He said, you don't understand. I told you I have 7 days. But when Sukdev Muni was walking in naked as he was born, because he was liberated, not even having any sanskar, he was liberated oneness with God because of his birth. They tell him, go and surrender. And what he said to them? Tatraya yaushodas varsta kastada vyasatma jo jnana mahabi chandrama kathavasane nijalabha purna prinnapatam bhagavatam shane shane. He said, listen to the Bhagavat. For 7 days and night until your bridge lasts. Nigama kalpatarur galitam phalam shukhamukad drava sangyutam pivata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavaka. So we get the lesson. Live every moment as though it is his last moment. Live it in the thought of God, with God. Parikshit did this. 7 days and night, his mind, his thoughts were in the Lord, Krishna Bhagavan. So when he was breathing his last, the serpent will come. He was in oneness with the Lord. Reference again in your mind, marriage was a demon. And he was given an arrow from the Lord, not an arrow that was placed in the bow. Every time the Lord placed an arrow in the bow, he gave salvation. Destroy that, give salvation. But he didn't take an arrow and place it in the bow. He took a headless arrow, and with his hands he threw it over towards marriage. And he threw marriage 800 miles. And he fell there and he stayed right there. When Ravan came and asked him to throw the golden ear, he said, Ravan, there is no ordinary boy, and I had an experience with the Lord. It is the Lord that take human form and came on the earth to rid the earth of all the demons like me and you. But I had my experience. One painful experience that marriage had with God took him straight to the lap of God. And sometimes when we have struggles in our life, we get further from God and we move around where people have more struggles than us and they cannot help themselves. But we go by them for help. Go in your prayer room and go by the Lord. Marriage taught Ravan that. And marriage said, when Ravan told marriage, he said, if you don't do it, I will kill you. And marriage thought, if I go, Sri Ramchandra will kill me. In either way, I will die. I must die. But marriage decided to die, giving up his life at the feet of God rather than the world. So you have to make that choice. That choice is in your hands. I cannot make it for you. Do you want to give up this life in connected to the world? To come back and suffer the consequences of everything that we did? Or do we want to give up this life in oneness with the Lord? You have that choice. Please make that choice. Make that choice. Let us pray, everybody. Let us all pray. You may not be able to join me in words, but give it a good thought, a pure thought for the departed soul. And pray for the family to have the strength, because this is 3 boys here, There are no girl in this house to make a little cup of coffee, It is. But she is fortunate to have 2 sons to perform she rites. Some people who have 1 son, the other beg this one and that one, the next one. And the 2 boys, I am their guru. So they couldn't do anything else but to do what they're doing now. Because I'm their guru. But they are 2 nice boys, I want to tell you. They may not come to the temple. But the temple used to come by them once a year, twice a year to do puja. And they were always involved. And they will never forget to come and do my arati and bow to. And they are 2 respectable boys. We know about you, but they always show respect to. And that's what I could talk about. If you didn't deal with them well and they deal back with you on well, there's a matter for you. But these 2 boys are really dedicated boys to their parents. And we pray that, and boy will now become mother and father to these 2 boys. But he will play that role good. Boy is a kind fella, He have his way, he go talk to you and think, and if you don't understand him, you'll get, but he's very kind in that. So I just allow him sometimes, and then when I get the opportune time, let us pray, everybody. Let's pray with the family. Pray for the departed soul. Shri Ramchandra Kripalu Bhajuman Harana Bhavedarunam Navakanjalochana Kanjamukar Kanjapad Kanjarunam Kandarpayang Anitayamit Chabi Navanila Niraj Sundaram Patpitamana Charuchi Suchi Nomi Janaka Sutabharam Bhajudina Bandhu Dineshadanav Daityavanshani Kandanan Raghunandayanand Kanda Koshal Chandra Dasharatha Nandanam सिर मुकुट कुंडल तिलक चार उदार यंग विभूषणम आजान भुज शर चापधर संग्राम जित कर दूषणम इति बदित तुलसीदास शंकर शेष मुनि मनरंजनम मम हृदय कंच निवास कुरु कामादिखल दल गंजनम श्री राम श्री राम श्री राम. Nila was very close to her in-laws. Daughter was always here. And Chan, every time I come here to talk to boy, Chan is there supporting her brother-in-law. And Nila never speak ill of her in-laws. I'm seeing some of Nila's parents' family here. Wonderful family. But Nila was very close to her husband. You cannot be close to your parents when you're married. That is good, but you're not being close to your husband, parents. God go get a little angry. You go feel a little hurt. And Nila was very close to boy's family. They were always, every time I come to the puja, Chan and Doddle and Tara and them are here making the parsad and making everything, arrangements for the puja. And when the puja finish, you have food to eat too. So let us continue finally. I will ask you to stand now for a minute. We are going to call the name of Lord Vishnu, the different names. And we pray that these names of Lord Vishnu be there in this journey, especially as soon as we cremate the body. The priesthood begins from then. There are rites and rituals to perform. And these boys will be directed how it must be performed by their guru. And I tell them, don't listen to nobody else. Listen to your guru. When people call me and ask me about certain things, I say, you have your pandit? Yes, Baba. I say, go and ask he. I do things a little different. Me want to make no quarrel with no pandit and thing. We all get what we deserve, and we deserve what we get. Narayanam param jyotiratma narayanam Narayanam parabrahma narayanam namostute Narayanam paro devo dhata narayanam para Narayanam paro dhyata dhyanam narayanam param Narayanam paro dharmo narayanam namostute Narayanam paro vidyo Vidya Narayanam para Narayanam param danam Vidhi Narayanam para Narayanam param dhamam Narayanam namostate. It tells us that Narayan, which is God, is higher than everything else in the world. He's the highest. So just a little chant now for a few lines. Sriman Narayana 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 Bolo Sriman. Everybody loud sing now. Use your voice to call God's name. You'll benefit from it. Everybody. Bhajuman Narayana 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 Sriman Narayana 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 Shriman Narayana 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 Shriman Narayana Narayana Oh Bhajuman Narayana. You know, Tara, why I call God's name? I have plenty sin. And every time I call God's name, little bit does go. So I call in God's name every minute. Before I leave, I want all to go. I want to carry no baggage. I come with those baggages, and I take it up more and I go in, and I ain't drop out where I came with. I don't want to, have that knowledge, everybody, and call God's name every day. Every moment of your life. You don't have to call it hard in your mind. Let it stay in your mind. Om Jale Vishnu Sale Vishnu Vishnu Parvat Mastake Jwala Malakule Vishnu Sarvam Vishnu Mayi Jakata Om Anadhinidano Devaha Sankachakra Gadadra Akshya Pundri Kaksha Preta Muksha Prado Bhava Narayanang Surashreshta Lakshmi Kanta Janardhana Anina Tarapinanatham Preta Muksha Prado Bhava Tvameva Mata च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम. You know, in a wedding there's actually Dula and Dula to face not, and they make 7 steps. That is the first auspicious 7 steps in their life. These few days will be very difficult for boy and these 2 children. All your family members, try to be here for them. If you come in the evening itself and sit down for a few minutes, try to be there. You know, it could be very difficult for them and difficult for you all too. These few days, right? Until the days pass by, they solve problems, they solve it in time. So let me pray that the Lord guide this family, give strength to this family and all members of the family. God bless you for coming to the service. So now the family members will begin to view the body first, boy and the 2 boys and so on, and you will come. Yes. What I would like you all to do though is to be very silent when this is on. More silent you stay, more it's going to help the departed. Don't talk unnecessary. Don't use this state today to meet and greet people in see for a long time. Just acknowledge they see you here and you give them that strength. They see you here and they know that you stood with them in this time of bereavement. And that's important. So we're going to ask them to put the malas and things, brother. We're going to start from that corner and everybody will go this way and come right around. Don't come from there and just go back so. Make a round around the coffin and you'll be blessed for every footstep you make. Let's begin now, everybody. Anybody that bigger than Nila can put mala on here. Anybody bigger than yeah. No, but all the mumsy and all of them. They could put a flower with the mala. Okay. All right, let them know that. Let them boys and them put the mala. Yeah, all the boys put the mala. All right, we're going to make offerings of. Om Yamaye Namah Swadha. Om Dharmarajaya Namah Swadha. Mrityave Namah Swadha. Antakaye Swadha. Vaivastaya Namah Swadha. Om Kalaya Namah Swadha. Om Sarvadukshaya Namah Swadha. Om Udumbaraya Namah Swadha. Dadhanaye Namaha. Nilaye Namaha. Om Parameshwari Namaha. Om Sri Sarvadukshaya Swaha. Om Udumbaraya Namah Swadha. Om Dadhanaya Namah Swadha. Om Nilaya Namah Swadha. Sarvadukshaya Namah Swadha. Om Audumbaraya Namah Swadha. Om Dadhanaya Namah Swadha. Om Nilaya Namah Swadha. Om Parameshwari Namah Swadha. Om Brikutaraya Namah Swadha. Om Chitraya Namah Swadha. Chitraguptaya Namah Swadha. Put all inside the fire. You got to get somebody to carry this, eh? Even though it out is all right. Oh yes. Om Shanno Devi. Wash your hands. You just go make arrangement. Tara, you have to make arrangement for everything that we could use up there. There's somebody.
Packet already. I put it in a box already.
This had to go. They will put it in.
But this will have to go on a luta.
Yeah, luta go.
Kumar said he didn't have to come.
She did well, Baba.
She's put in mind everything she's doing. She puts in mind. She's a nice child.
family house and then I here long time coming all the time. There's my son and there's my daughter. Huh? Yeah, because and this, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm the only son. I have the person there to put the water. I give God because I have nobody else. I am widow. I can't do that.
No, anybody could do it.
Anybody could do it.
Yeah, no.
One time. You have the loader. I think I didn't come inside.
No, look, I want to put
So this one's okay? And you have to use that again?
Yeah, she had to cover she head. You'll tell you writing and you tell she knows. Everybody must cover their head, ladies. For prayers and for this. Anybody want to make our offerings of a flower? Please come quick. Because we're ready to go. Yes, yes. Yeah, yes. Testing. Please be reminded that the procession will go to the Caroni banks. So we are going to go down the Endeavour Road, take the highway to the Caroni cremation site.
Yeah.